All right, my friends, we are back. It's been a minute. Welcome back to the channel, guys. So in today's video, I'm actually going to give you guys updates on the E36. I am glad to announce that the car finally passed California bar, California smog. For those who don't know, when you get engine swaps in California, you do have to pass the bar, which is that little sticker right there. I will show a picture of it somewhere here in the video. But yeah, so basically when you do engine swaps in California, you got to make sure that the emissions are compliant with the state. What that means is that we bought a carb legal LS3 motor. So you can see here the California Resource Board executive number there. And here's the engine. If you guys don't know, if you guys are from out of state, here in California, we cannot just do engine swaps left and right without passing the bar. Because we have what's called like the Air Resource Board here in California that basically inspects the vehicle and makes sure that the emissions are compliant with California state law. Getting that sticker is incredibly difficult, especially when you're doing any type of engine swap in any car. More so, especially for this, because this is a BMW. And the engine that we swapped in there is obviously a GM LS3. I really feel like the referee kind of gets a bad rap. At the end of the day, the referee really is just doing their job and they're bound to the laws of the state. So I understand why they do what they do. Granted, California is a really hard place to be a car enthusiast, but it is what it is. So the actual inspection itself really wasn't that bad. It's an hour and a half basically. And in that time frame, they basically visually inspect your vehicle, check the monitors, the emission monitors on your car through the OBD port, and then they do a sniffer test, which is pretty much the emissions test out the tailpipe. The first time we did see the referee, we did fail, and he said we would have passed if it wasn't for this one hose right here. Basically, the story with this hose is it's not a fuel rated hose and it was connected to our EVAP system. The actual hose line can deteriorate and corrode. So we did get that fixed. We did a follow-up appointment again a couple of weeks later, and luckily we were able to pass. Now the E36 LS3 is now California legal. I am just waiting for my registration tags to come in because the last time we actually registered this vehicle was back in 2022. And obviously you guys know that the engine blew up and we couldn't get it smog. So now it's 2024 and it's due again for registration payments and to get it smog. A couple of things I do want to kind of touch up on, as you guys can see right over here. Hopefully the camera can kind of pick that up. We do have like a nest of just wires here that I really do need to kind of clean up a little bit. Zip tie and all that stuff. That's just stuff that I can do on my time off, like random light wires and stuff here. The previous owner did have HIDs on here, which was like a rat's nest of just wiring, so I definitely got to get that cleaned up. Same thing over on this side as well. If I remember correctly, this is the cruise control. So little things here and there that I do have to tidy up. I don't really want to cut wires, but because it already passed and everything pretty much works, I might end up doing that. But yeah, we'll see. It's nothing that's a pressing matter at this time, but yeah, so pretty much here's the car, here's the LS3. Everything's looking really good, nice and clean. Luckily we passed, and there's just little other things that we really need to take care of. It's really hard to modify a car when you're not sure if it's even going to be California legal or pass the state certification. So now that that's finally taken care of, we can finally start getting back to modding and having fun with it. So a couple of things I do want to do is I want to take the door cards off, because you will hear when we go for a test drive, these things rattle, and I do want to take them off, but not to remove them. I want to apply some sound deadening inside because they do rattle quite a bit. In terms of the seats itself, I am going to get these changed to bucket seats because these just look kind of old, and they've seen better days. They're decent shaped Vaders. I don't think I'm ever gonna get rid of them, but I'll keep them in the garage just for memento's sake. We also got a new head unit here, so that has Bluetooth, and yeah, it just makes my life a lot easier listening to music and just chilling, riding in the car. So let's go ahead and go for a test drive so you guys can kind of actually hear the car and yeah, enjoy it and see what I have to see when I drive it. So let's go ahead and get to it. Yeah, that's one thing that I'll never get tired of, driving this car. Woo! Sounds good. The car's already warmed up. That was actually a warm start. So yeah, let's go ahead and get driving here. One thing's for sure is that the car is definitely a lot louder than it was before. The only downside that I can tell as far as driving the car is I do have to be a little more cognizant when it comes to going over speed bumps or like rough terrain. My catalytic converter, especially I believe on the driver's side, is quite low to the ground, so I will scrape when I do go over some steep speed bumps, or if I hit like a pothole in the road. just something to kind of keep in mind. But that's a compromise you have to make when you have catalytic converters in the car. Actually, a little part of me does want to sort of revert back to stock suspension just because of the ride height issue with the catalytic converters. But I just love the way the car is kind of stanced out and the way it looks right now. It's not the lowest, and it does look a lot more sportier, just having that little baby drop. Unfortunately, the gram control coilovers that I have won't allow me to raise the vehicle height any further. It's pretty much like maxed out, even with the preload adjusted. I'm kind of stuck with my suspension until I decide what I want to do moving forward. But hopefully you guys can kind of hear right now. So there's a lot of rattling right now, and that's coming from the door cards. You guys can hopefully hear that through the cameras. But the issue is that it's basically just sheet metal where actual leather door cards used to be, and those previous door cards on the stock setup was quite thick, so it does deaden a lot of that sound and noise, vibration, and harshness coming to the vehicle. And it doesn't help that these are obviously metal that's screwed into metal, and my rear seat is also deleted, so a lot of that stuff is contributing to all the noise that you're hearing in the car. It's just funny, every time I get in the car with my wife, I just tell her, it's just making race car noises. There's really nothing to be afraid of. It's just a really loud car. The differential did get changed and rebuilt. So what I ended up doing was taking my previous diff, which was a 338 gear diff, and we had it redone by Stewie, who was out in Santa Rosa, I believe. I'll link you to his Instagram there, and he basically will take your stock E36 or BMW differential, I believe he works on other BMWs as well, and he'll re-gear them and basically refresh them for you. He does quality work, and the differential, yeah, it definitely does help pulling the car through. So this is a 391. It's a little shorter gear ratio. 391 is actually a really nice differential because it still lets me kind of romp on it in first and second gear, but on the freeway in sixth gear, I'm probably sitting at 75 miles per hour at about 2,000-ish RPM, which is really good. And I am grateful that this is actually a 6-speed transmission as opposed to the 5-speed that I had previously, because with the 5-speed and a 338 diff in 5th gear, 75 miles per hour, I was probably hitting about 3,500, almost 4,000 RPMs. One thing of note too is that my differential is basically like a I believe it's a 4-clutch style. So when I am hitting tight corners, like doing really sharp turns and stuff, it is really chattery. There's a lot of diff chatter. I actually had to put some AC Delco friction modifier in just to kind of quiet it down a little bit. It is still a little loud, but it's a lot quieter than it was before. And yeah, that's just race car noises, really. It's meant to lock up really hard to help with aggressive driving, and it's probably the most highest spec you can do for a street / semi-track use type of car. First gear and second gear on this thing is a riot, man. It's just basically looking for traction in the car. And these are 245s in the rear, so they're not the widest of tires. And that kind of puts us in a dilemma because we can run 255s, but the thing that I'm worried about is that I just don't want to rub in the rear. And I'm kind of already semi-rubbing when I'm hitting bumps and stuff. I can raise the ride height in the rear, but again, that's going to affect the look and the feel and the handling of the vehicle. The only other option I could think of is going wide body. So basically I would be buying some over fenders or some form of over fender. And then I can run maybe 275s in the rear, which would definitely help out. Alright, I'm gonna roll the windows down now because it's getting hot. We're in third gear right now. And another thing with the exhaust is just the pops and bangs. It just sound amazing. All right, we're in third. We've got a little bit more space in front of us here. Coast is clear. do a couple of downshifts. Haven't perfected it yet, but we're getting there. Yep, definitely drinks a lot. Alright guys, so that's all I got for today's video, man. This was just a quick impromptu video. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up, give you guys an update about what's going on with the car, what's going on with the channel. I'm still alive, everyone. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a while, but like I said, I've been really busy with the E36, making sure that everything was up to standard for the bar and for the referee, and luckily, we're able to pass. So, with that being said, guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys like it, please hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.